The investment in Ohio that has the entire country talking, and we take a look at what else needs to be built now that Intel is coming to New Albany. Plus,
our votes are sacred. And so, we stand with voters. It's our honor to stand with every Ohio citizen in trying to get a process that works for us.
the fight over district lines continues. Hear from the group that said the new maps are not okay. And Ohio Democrats are demanding answers about the House Bill 6 scandal, how the governor's office is responding. We thank you for joining us for Face the State. I'm Tracy Townsend. We're taking a look at how Intel is investing in Ohio. By now, you've heard the company is spending $20 billion to build the world's largest chip manufacturing plant near New Albany. Over the next few years, it'll bring 3,000 jobs and 7,000 construction jobs. This comes as U.S. Senator Sherrod Brown is pushing for the House to pass the Competes Act of 2022. It stands for America Creating Opportunities for Manufacturing, Preeminence in Technology and Economic Strength. It focuses on investing in manufacturing, and it also addresses global semiconductor shortages, which is something the new computer chip factory in Ohio could help with as well.
Well, they know how important it is to me and to a number of us that these jobs be good paid jobs, that they be union jobs, and that they be open to women and minorities. And we're going to see 5,000 construction jobs for the next 10 years. We're working with the building trades to attract a more diverse group of workers. And these are jobs that, they pay a very good middle class wage for years. And that's what we're doing.
It's so vitally important that we make these chips right here in the United States of America. Let's go back a little bit, but look what's happened. In 1990, the United States was a world leader in chip production. It had nearly 40% of the world's production capacity. But today, that number has fallen to 12%. While countries in Asia have 75% of the world's chip capacity. Simply put, we must make more products right here in the United States. And there is no better place to manufacture any of them than right here in Ohio, made by Ohioans.
This project will take time to get up and running, something the New Albany spokesperson wants you to remember.
I think it's important for everybody to realize that this is not going to happen tomorrow, that this is still careful growth in New Albany, and it will be done the right way.
The right way, but there is some fallout to the changes that will come with Intel. Every home on Miller Road, for example, has been bought out, meaning neighborhoods will vanish in the name of jobs.
Been here since I was a kid, basically. Every weekend when I wasn't living out here, and then now that I live here, yeah, it's a sad moment, but life moves on.
But as these families move on, move away, thousands more will be moving in. Is New Albany ready for that influx of people? 10 TV's Olivia Eugenio spoke with two experts about what this means for Central Ohio.
When you're looking at a $20 billion project, there's a lot that goes into it that you might not think about.
Roads, water, and sewer.
Whether it's housing, transit, roads, even greenways, that's what the next conversation is.
Let's start with roadways.
But when you think about the people and the jobs and how they're going to get to and from the facility, that's really where a lot of focus will be, is making sure those local roads are ready to handle it.
ODOT has already commented on its plans.
We will be adding lanes to State Route 161, and we will be improving interchanges adjacent to the site.
Yas Motoyama, a city planning professor at Ohio State University, expects the biggest issue will be where is everyone going to live?
Something that's going to be the pressing issue for the region is the housing. And it's not just any housing, but relatively good housing for highly skilled labor.
One thing's for certain, this project will affect many different ways of life across Central Ohio. Olivia Eugenio, 10 TV News.
Intel has committed to 100% renewable energy supply by 2030. That includes solar power. 10 TV's Kevin Landers explains the role other parts of the state will play in meeting Intel's energy needs.
With plenty of available land, Licking County is attracting more chip-based businesses. This land behind me is slated to be a mega solar farm. Located off Watkins Road, this former cornfield could soon be home to 250,000 solar panels. Panels that could help power the massive Intel microchip plant about a 20-minute drive to the north.
The electricity being developed there could very well go to Intel, or Intel could contract with other developers and other sites here in the state.
Not only would green energy flow from this farm field, so would taxes that could be directly invested into the community.
It's like 30 times more tax payments. So that's going to directly fund the schools and all of the other local taxing jurisdictions.
Ohio is becoming a major player in the solar power field. Perrysburg's First Solar is the largest vertically integrated solar manufacturing plant outside China. And while some may question whether Ohio has enough sun to power Intel's plant, those in the industry say Intel wouldn't have come here if it didn't think Ohio could generate it.
And Ohio might not be as good as Southern Arizona or Western Texas or something like that, but the consistency with which we do get sunlight hitting the ground here is plenty to warrant projects of this size.
This map shows the number of solar plants at different stages across the state. The green dots show only 2 are operational now. The orange dots show pre-construction. Ohio companies are positioning to take advantage of Intel's energy needs by providing a solar grid of power.
The grid is like a big bathtub with multiple faucets currently turning on and multiple drains. The energy users are the drains and the generators are the faucet. What Intel will be looking to do is to contract with a solar facility that's not built yet, and they'll effectively be turning on a faucet of new solar supply.
In Licking County, Kevin Landers, 10 TV News.
Intel is going to need a lot more employees to make that plant run. OSU Newark says it's ready to help. Starting in the autumn of 2023, the OSU Newark campus will offer a bachelor's degree in science and engineering and technology. The school says a graduate who completes the course could command a salary of more than $60,000 a year.
It's intended to be more hands-on. It's intended to be more controls focused and automation focused, and really give students a combination of skills to work in manufacturing.
Intel says it's going to need 3,000 employees in the next 10 years. This week marked another big business move with the launch of the Jobs Ohio Aficionado Black Founders and Black Venture Capitalists program. Lawmakers, community, and business leaders were at this launch. The goal is to create, build, and promote a platform with a focus on making Ohio the destination state for founders of color and venture capitalists. Terry Gore from Jobs Ohio says the focus starts with doing better on backing black venture capitalists.
Less than 1%. To put it in perspective, in 2021, Ohio had nearly $3 billion in venture-backed funding. So if we just use that national number of less than 1%, that's a problem. Secondly, venture, one of the other things, roughly about 2% of VC firms have a person of color that's a partner. So what that creates is a scenario where people who look like that black founder are being evaluated, or companies are being evaluated by people who can't necessarily relate. So oftentimes they're turned down for funding, and in other cases, maybe even the overall valuation is much lower. Taking the approach of having a collaborative, holistic platform, specifically focusing on what I deem the 4 C's: culture, college, corporate, and capital. It doesn't matter what venture capitalist it is, they're looking for ROI, return on investment. Ohio has over 200 colleges and universities. They've got 35 that have entrepreneurship programs. So what we want to do is we want to create an environment where there are those future black founders or future black VCs. We want them to stay in the state. We don't want them to leave. But they have to be able to see more of people in that space who look like themselves, have an opportunity to go mentor with those types of organizations. So as they start their professional journey, they see, hey, Ohio is a place I want to stay, I don't need to leave and go to the West Coast or to New York.
Serving as MC of that program really allowed me to understand this collaboration of bringing together business, academia, and dollars with an eye on economic development in our state. You'll remember that Jobs Ohio started in 2011, aimed at boosting growth by investing in our communities and helping the state's businesses expand while attracting new companies, with the bottom line of job creation, greater payrolls, and more investment. All right, that fight over redistricting is far from over in Ohio. This week, the League of Women Voters filed a legal objection against the new maps passed by the Redistricting Commission. They passed the new maps just over a week ago along party lines. Since they failed to come to a bipartisan agreement, the maps would only hold for 4 years. This process started after the Ohio Supreme Court ruled the old maps were gerrymandered toward Republicans. The League of Women Voters says gerrymandering hurts all voters.
There's a partisan bias baked into these maps. At the end of the day, that hurts every voter. So even though these maps really favor Republican candidates, I would argue they hurt Republican voters, because when a party knows that they are mathematically going to win elections, the most important election becomes the primary, and those candidates then play to party extremes and their big donors and don't have to listen to the needs of voters and communities. You know, the League of Women Voters has been fighting partisan gerrymandering in Ohio since the 70s, when Democrats did it, and now Republicans are doing it again. It harms voters no matter their party affiliation. We're not going to stop until we finally end partisan gerrymandering, really rigging maps for political outcomes rather than trying to fairly represent voters and communities.
We talked with a political science professor from The Ohio State University. He says the step back will not only impact voters, but candidates as well.
There are a lot of candidates who really don't know what race they're going to be running in. In some cases, they may have to run against somebody from their own party. And they may want to think hard about whether they're eager to return to the legislature under those kinds of circumstances. In other cases, it could well be that Republicans will be running on districts or in districts that are basically mapped so that a Democrat would be favored based on past voting history. And they may decide again that their chances of being elected or reelected are not as good as they thought they were going to be. And as a result of that, would bow out of the contest.
And Professor Beck says he's hopeful both parties will come to an agreement before having to change the May primary date. We will certainly watch this and keep you posted on their progress. The Ohio Democratic Party chair is demanding answers from Governor Mike DeWine about the House Bill 6 scandal. You'll remember that's the $60 million bribery scheme that bailed out 2 failing power plants in our state and involved former House Speaker Larry Householder. Ohio Democratic Party Chair Liz Walters filed a public records requests this week about House Bill 6, a number of them, in fact. They want to get a hold of communications among the governor and the lieutenant governor and special interest groups they say are tied to House Bill 6. The party threatened to file a lawsuit if they don't get a response soon.
We will not stand idly by and wait for Mike DeWine to stall. If these public records requests are not fulfilled in a timely manner, the Ohio Democratic Party is prepared to file a lawsuit demanding their release.
Governor DeWine's press secretary says the administration has responded or acknowledged these HB 6 requests and has provided more than 600 pages of documents in response to the Democrats' records requests related to HB 6 issues. He added they plan to respond to these new requests in line with the Ohio Public Records Act. Soon, Hilliard schools will stop COVID-19 contact tracing. The changes the district is making now and why some people are pushing for more. And welcome back. One question many of you are asking: how close are we to successfully winning the war against COVID-19? Dr. Bruce Vanderhoff of the Ohio Department of Health says it depends on where you live. Here in Central Ohio, we are seeing cases go down as well as hospitalizations, which he says shows there is a light at the end of the tunnel. But here's where we fell short. Last July, we had 19 cases per 100,000 people. This week, we are 1,700 cases per 100,000 people. Hilliard City Schools stopping contact tracing for COVID-19. The district is also cutting back on how often it updates case numbers. This is in response to new guidance from the state. Kevin Landers now explaining the reason for the change.
Angela Scheibel is a grandparent of 6 children. 4 of them attend Hilliard City Schools, a district that sent this letter to parents telling them, quote, "Our nursing team will no longer be sending classroom or building COVID-19 notification letters."
I think that the parents should be notified.
Why is that so important?
Because there's a lot of people getting it.
The district got the green light to stop contact tracing from the Ohio Department of Health Director, Dr. Bruce Vanderhoff. He said universal contact tracing became impractical.
There was virtually no school that was able to universally contact trace students all across their district.
I asked him if discontinuing the practice of contact tracing forces parents to guess which kids may be positive in their classroom.
We're not asking parents to guess where the exposure might be coming from. What we're advising parents is the exposure is everywhere.
That doesn't sit well with this grandparent.
I think the parents should be notified for anything in school.
Hilliard says it will continue to report COVID cases, but only on Fridays on the school's webpage. All other mitigation strategies like mask wearing and social distancing will remain in place.
We have strongly advised our schools to mask up. We've strongly advised them to ask their students to wear a mask at school.
The state says contact tracing going forward will only happen if there's an outbreak or cluster. Local health departments will be responsible for defining what that means, since 10 cases in a small school may be worse than 10 cases in a large school.
It was something that is literally just about everywhere. The most important steps that we can take are to focus on areas where we're seeing an unusual degree of activity, a cluster of cases, or a clear indications of a localized outbreak.
In Hilliard, Kevin Landers, 10 TV News.
The health department's recommendation on no longer requiring contact tracing went out to all kindergarten through 12th grade schools in the state. Columbus City Schools continues to struggle with the lack of school bus drivers. District leaders had to close one day last week because too many drivers called out the night before. The district reported a shortage of 150 school bus drivers. The union says it's 75 drivers short. The president of the union that represents Columbus school bus drivers explained how cold, COVID, and that lack of staff makes for a perfect storm for school closures.
We expect up to about a 12% call off of about 100. We kind of look at 565 routes. So we expect up to a 12% call off, because keep in mind, these drivers are also dealing with COVID in their own families, in their own self. And I'm a driver. My kid's school just shut down because of a COVID impact or teacher shortage. So now I'm impacted that as a parent, what am I going to do?
It's a cycle there. The Columbus City Schools told 10 TV that they will continue to look at staffing daily and make the decision to transition to remote learning or maintain in-person classes. And we will watch that and report it to you. Franklin County is getting a big boost in funding for more body cameras. We'll take a look at how much our local law enforcement agencies are getting for this new tech. More law enforcement agencies across the state will soon be equipped with body cameras. The governor's office announced $4.7 million will go to more than 100 agencies. Franklin County Sheriff's Office is expected to get the most money, more than $232,000. Grove City and Hilliard are both set to get more than $58,000. 10 TV's Lacey Crisp explains what this money means for Hilliard.
I think we've seen across the country and even here in Central Ohio the value of having a body-worn camera. It not only tells the story of what officers are doing on a daily basis, but it gives the public an opportunity to see how we're doing it.
In this day and age, there's an expectation that all law enforcement officers wear body-worn cameras But that simply isn't accurate.
I just think it's all come to fruition at the right time. We are slow compared to other Central Ohio organizations, but we want to make sure that what we do is correct, and we've learned from the mistakes of those that went down the path before us.
Thanks to a grant from the state, it will be easier for departments like Hilliard to pay for new body-worn camera programs. Hilliard was already in the process of buying the cameras, but Chief Eric Greil says this grant will go a long ways.
The grant was written for exactly the scenario that Hilliard Police are in. They were looking for organizations that had no body camera program, that were looking to start one where finances were a concern.
Hilliard's new body-worn cameras will be synced up with their dash cameras, and all officers are expected to be equipped with the body-worn cameras by the middle of the summer.
So those two will work seamlessly together and provide audio, and then they can be looked at on a split screen, so you will see both the body-worn camera footage and the cruiser video at the same time.
Deputy Police Chief Mike Wood says the grant may be able to help them speed up their timeline and give residents accountability from the department.
They can look at what we do, how we do it. It provides great transparency, and I think that helps to reassure the public that what we're doing and what we're saying is the right way.
In Hilliard, Lacey Crisp, 10 TV News.
Longtime Columbus activist and public servant Tracy Johnson is joining the race for U.S. Senate in Ohio. She announced the decision last week, pledging to address gun violence. Johnson says she's also looking to tackle the issues of making Wi-Fi more affordable and accessible to all Ohioans.
I'm running for the United States Senate because Ohio deserves a strong voice in Washington, a unifier that will attack problems and not people. I am focused on solving the most critical issues that impact our state, this great state of Ohio. Everyone has a right to affordable and quality health care. There is a vicious attack on women's health and reproductive rights. I will fight for quality health care, including safe and legal abortions.
Two other candidates for that Senate seat squared off in a debate even before the primaries. Trump-aligned Josh Mandel is trying to secure the Republican nomination, while the progressive-leaning Morgan Harper is trying to get the Democratic nod. They debated on Thursday night. There are several other candidates, including Congressman Tim Ryan on the Democratic side and Ohio State Senator Matt Dolan, the Cleveland businessman. Mike Gibbons and tech executive Benny Moreno on the Republican side are all in this race. Now the race for governor. Democratic candidate Nan Whaley got the endorsement from former Columbus Mayor Michael B. Coleman. He said he believes she has a bold vision for how the state can once again be a place of opportunity for current and future generations. Black History Month kicks off in just 2 days, and the Ohio State House is celebrating with two special performances. The events are scheduled for February 15th and the 22nd, and they are both free. Each 45-minute performance starts at noon. The shows are going to explore Black culture, family stories, and they will even have a Q&A session. The events will be live in the atrium of the Ohio State House, but you can also watch the performances live on the ohiochannel.org. Well, we certainly thank you all for joining us here on Face the State today. Have a great week.